Well, hello there. This is Craig Hain. My students call me Dr. Dell, and I'm talking to you today on this video about the TI-30Xa scientific calculator. I call it the $1,000,000 calculator. It would have been worth that 100 years ago if you'd had one and no one else had had one, because it lets you do things that are just absolutely incredible. Now, today, this $1,000,000 calculator is only $10. And quite frankly, it is the key, in my view, to any student really to learn math, particularly practical math, in a very, very easy and effective way. Now, this is video message number 6 about the calculator, and it's going to be about the trig keys across the top, SIN, COS, and TAN. And in order to discuss that with you, I'm going to share the screen. First of all, if you don't know about the free gift, I'm assuming that you probably are studying this. If you go to my website, craighain.com, and go down there, claim your free gift, I give you this free gift, which is how to master the TI-30Xa scientific calculator. And I call it a $97 gift because, as I've told you in other videos, we sold it for many, many years for $97 back when we had to, but given the technologies of the day, and it was very well worth it. It's a bargain at that because it saves an immense amount of time. I mean, quite frankly, if you had to pay $1,000 for it, it'd still be a good deal. But I can give it away free today because of technologies, and that's what I'm doing. And so you go to my front page and click on that. That'll get you here, get you your special free gift. Now, the tiers that I'm talking about, back up here now. This is the 16 lessons, and the other videos I've done earlier. I don't know how that came about. It's always want me to do something I don't want to do, and I don't know how to stop it. How do I get rid of it? Get rid of it. Go away. Go away. Okay. That happens a lot of times. Things pop up on this computers that I don't know where they come from, and I don't know how to stop them. These are the last 4 lessons of the 16 lessons. 14, 15, and 16 talk about the keys that are labeled SIN, COS, and TAN. Now, don't let that intimidate you. By the way, that's abbreviation for the word sine, cosine, and tangent. Don't worry about that. You don't need to know that to know how to use the keys. And the whole idea of this, at this point, is just to teach you how to use the keys. Now, once you learn to use these keys, and you have to learn to use them, then later you'll be ready to learn the subject called trigonometry, which I will tell you about in just a moment, a little bit more about that. But those are the keys. Now, I'm just going to stop sharing the screen for a moment, and I'm going to show you, demonstrate these keys to you. You turn on your calculator, and what you enter is you enter what are called degrees. You probably know about degrees, and of course, I teach all about that if you don't in those lessons. But let's say you enter 35 degrees in it, and you want to know what is the SIN of that number. You apply it to 35. So you hit SIN key, and you get a number, big long number, and that's called the SIN of it. Now, later I explain what that is. I don't explain it now, what that means later. All I will just tell you is, if you hit the second key and the sign again, you'll get back your 35. That's called the inverse sign. Now, the other thing I'll tell you is kind of interesting. You can do the same thing for cosine. You got 35 degrees, and you get cosine. You get a number. Hit inverse cosine. You get the number back. Now, here's something kind of sine, SIN, and COS are related to each other. And I'll just tell you this now. You'll learn about this when you learn trig at a deeper level. But if you put a number like 35 in, and you want to know what's its complementary number, mainly, what would it be if you subtracted it from 90 degrees? 90 degrees is a right angle. What if you took 35 minus 90? What would you get? Well, one way to do that is to take 35 and to take the cos of it, and then to hit second sine, the inverse, and bingo, there you get it. You get the inverse of it, 55 degrees, the complementary of it. 35 and 55 is 90. And that, so sine and cosine are related. Don't need to know about that now. I'm just mentioning that as just sort of a odd fact. That doesn't explain trigonometry. Trigonometry, by the way, is very, very easy to learn and use because all it does is involve ratios of right degree triangles. You'll learn all about that. And then you can use those functions to do all sorts of angle problems. Trigonometry is very important in practical math. As a matter of fact, that's kind of what I want to talk to you about next. I'm going to go back to sharing the screen. And because the question now always comes up, okay, now, Dr. Dell, I'm learning to use the calculator. What comes next? Well, first of all, still on the free program I've given you, I have 10 lessons on what are called pre-algebra. Now, this is math that the student should have learned in elementary school. It's all about what are the integers and rational numbers and negative numbers and real numbers, the number line, and what are the rules for addition and multiplication and so on, and the distributive law where you combine addition and multiplication. And then what are the rules for fractions? Well, again, the calculator does the calculations for you, but what are the rules? I think you should at least know the rules. How do you add two fractions? How do you multiply them? I believe that you should know the basic multiplication tables and addition tables. What you don't need to do is to know the algorithms, they call them, the complicated rules for doing the big arithmetic problems. What's the squared? What's the square root? What's the reciprocal? Again, those are keys on the calculator, but what do they mean? And I explain that. Now, in lesson number 10, P10, I actually explained to you a concept that probably wasn't taught in elementary school called exponential, exponents. And there's a key on the calculator that does it called the y to the x key, right above the divide key. And for me personally, as a business person, that's the most valuable key on a calculator. I use it a lot. I love it. And I explain that in P10, this pre-algebra. So you're going to learn about the y to the x key. Okay. Now, what comes next? Well, what comes next, I will tell you at some point in time, I will have told you if I haven't already, that you're going to go to a web page called trymathinc.com, practical math. Okay. Upgrade your students' math skills. Dr. Dell, that's me, practical, algebra, and geometry and trigonometry. These three subjects, all three, practical. Most students can do it in about one semester. Of course, it's just like the course you're taking now. It comes with notes and exercises and quizzes, all in a learning management tutorial videos. And I talk about that here. Now, we sold that for years for $197, the two tiers together, tier 1 and tier 2. But now I'm giving away tier 1. So I've dropped the price now for tier 2 down to $97. You're getting tier 1 for free. You're going to get this for $97. And if you can't afford $97 all up front, you can make 6 monthly payments of $17 each. It's a little bit more than $97, but not much. So you can make payments. Some people like to do that. Some people just want to pay for it. It's a heck of a deal, believe me. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to have another video where I talk about it. It's going to be VM8. It's like practical math and the crusade. And well, VM7, what comes next. And then I'll also have one on practical math and the crusade. But this is what's coming now. This is what you'll get next in the next video after this one. This one is video message number 6 on trig keys. And I recommend you just let the student go through them right now. It's a lot of fun to do, not hard to do. You're not learning trigonometry. You're just learning how to use those keys on the calculator. And then you're going to be ready to go do the pre-algebra. Make sure you know the rules of arithmetic. And then you're ready to go. So this is Craig Hain. I appreciate you watching these videos and going through this. And I urge you to do 2 things. Share with other people, anybody you know that's studying math. Send it to my website, craighain.com, and let them get their free gift and learn to use the calculator. And then you can work with them together on it and have fun with it. And you can play games with it, really. You can challenge each other. You try this, make up your own problems. I give you lots of problems to do. And you do the problems, and I give you all the answers according, do the review, do the quizzes, but make up your own problems. It's a lot of fun to do. And by the way, as you may know, when you have my program and you're taking it, there's a forum. And if you have a question on something that you didn't understand in one of my lessons, and you really worked at it, and you didn't understand it, you go to the forum and ask questions. And then someone will answer, usually me, but it should be somebody in our company will answer the question for you. And every once in a while, I do Zoom videos with my students and things like that. There's lots more that goes on. Once you get going with our program, it goes way, way beyond that. But the place to begin is no matter what you do my free gift, learn to master the TI-30Xa calculator and the pre-algebra. Make sure you know that. And then I don't care what other program you're taking, whether you're going to public school, private school, you're doing some homeschool with one of the other math programs, which is fine and dandy. This is going to help you. But then I've also got a lot of other things going to help you too that you're going to learn about. And I'll be talking to you more about that. In fact, I'm just going to wait and talk to you about that on video message 8 about what's next. Okay. So this is Craig Hain, Dr. Dell. Thank you so much for watching. I've enjoyed it very much. And I will see you now on the What's Next video. And by the way, What's Next is extremely exciting. Unbelievable, really. And you'll find out when you watch the video. Bye-bye.